Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies.
All right, we're finally going to talk about the Saints running back room. Kind of a new running back room. Obviously, we still have Alvin Kamara leading the way, leading the charge as the vet in the locker room, the veteran, and obviously it's running back one. We could talk about Alvin Kamara a little bit. Still haven't rushed for 1,000 yards in the season in his career. Could have did it last year. A groin injury at the end of the year kind of took that away from him. But obviously, still a productive back. We just need a number 2 guy to go along with him. I mean, if you look at some of the best backs combos in the league, it's always a 1-2 punch. And you can just go to the top of the food chain there in Detroit when you have David Montgomery and obviously Jahmyr Gibbs. You need something like that with a 1-2 punch, and the Saints just haven't. You know, we haven't had that in a while with Alvin Kamara. Honestly, the best 1-2 punch we've had in the last decade with Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, we haven't had anything like that since, in my opinion. So obviously, Alvin Kamara, we can do out the backfield, we can running the ball, catching the ball. Obviously, he's your running back one. And then after that, it's just up in the air. We can talk about Kendre Miller next. This is going to be his 3rd season. Obviously, those first 2 seasons under Dennis Allen, he was in a doghouse. Dennis Allen didn't like him. He couldn't stay healthy. It just wasn't a good fit. Them two wasn't a good marriage. Now, Dennis Allen is gone. He's coming into the offseason healthy. This is a make or break year for Kendre Miller. He's shown pop. He's shown flashes. He's shown this and that, but he hasn't produced enough to stay on. He hasn't stayed on the field enough, and he hasn't produced enough to remain on the Saints roster after this season or during this season if he does not produce in a preseason, training camp, mini camp, regular season, anything. This will be his last year with the Saints. Obviously, he was, kind of sharing that role with Jamal Williams last year, who really didn't pan out as well. But Kendre Miller, he's probably going to be in the driver's seat for running back 2, in my opinion. I think he's in the driver's seat for running back 2. He's shown the most flash. He's shown the most pop. He just has to stay on the field, and he has to stay healthy. We can kind of talk about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He came in last year when the Saints running back room was just hurt. With Alvin Kamara was hurt. Kendre Miller ultimately got hurt, of course. So obviously a back out of LSU, a guy that, we all love if you're an LSU Saints fan. But I'm going to be honest, that juice is gone. It's done. It's done with Clyde. Like him, if he could come in and be, a guy that's on the practice squad, a guy that has to come in if maybe Alvin Kamara gets nicked up, maybe Kendre Miller gets nicked up, and something like that, and he's come in to be a backup running back for a week or 2, I think that could be a role for him. I just don't think that he should be on the Saints roster, in my opinion. Do I think he's a bad back? No. But I think we have some younger guys. Then obviously we have Alvin Kamara, and I just don't think it's a good fit for the Saints. But hey, he can use this as a tryout for another team or something like that, and maybe get picked up by another franchise. Because I just don't think the fit with the Saints is just there. Now we can go to Devon Neal. If you watch my video, I just dropped a video on Devon Neal. Drafted in the 6th round for the Saints this year, man. He's about 5'11", 215-ish, 220, 210. This depends on, where he's at and where his weight. With 2nd team All Big 12, back-to-back seasons, man. He's got nice size, got a good agility. He's a good young prospect in my opinion. I think he's already better than Clyde as a fit on this team. Obviously, Clyde's probably better than him right now on the NFL level. But I think once he gets in the building, once he gets caught up to speed with the playbook and things like that, he's just going to be a weapon for the Saints. Really like this tape against Colorado. I have to watch more of him. But he looked really good. In a couple games I watched. So I do think he has a chance. He has a chance to get all the way up to running back 2, in my opinion. And maybe we can have a Gibbs Montgomery type situation with Devon Neal and Alvin Kamara. I think Devon Neal has the most room for improvement, but his ceiling's also he does have a high ceiling. I mean, not a high ceiling, a high floor as well. So I think he can be a really good back. Obviously, running backs, doesn't matter if you get picked 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round. All those guys are honestly pretty close unless you have someone special. So I do think he can come in and produce for the Saints if he's given that opportunity, and we'll see how that goes. Now we have a couple other people on the roster as well, like Marcus Jones and a couple other guys. But Velus Jones, those guys are going to be fighting to make roster spots. Even though I do think Jones is it's interesting. Can play like a little receiver as well, kind of a little scat backish. Can line up, as slot basically. So we'll see how that works out. Don't want to talk too much about him just because I think that the main 3 guys are probably going to be Neal, Kendre Miller, and Alvin Kamara, with Clyde fighting for a spot and all those other guys fighting for that 4th spot. Now special teams is going to come into play. Who can be a special teamers out this group? Kendre Miller, he's not going to be a special teams guy. Devon Neal, I'm not sure he did it. So maybe that 4th guy has to be a special team guy, like a Velus, like a Yorn, someone that's going to have to come in and play special teams. Play on punt protection, play on punt return maybe as a blocker or something like that. Because obviously we got Rashid Shaheed to return punts and things like that. So we're gonna have to find a guy that's gonna be able to play special teams for this with this unit as well. But man, I do like this unit. I think this is one of the better units we've had coming into the season. Better than when we had Jamal Williams and Kendre Miller with Alvin Kamara. I think Alvin Kamara, Devin Neal, and Kendre Miller, if those guys can stay healthy, that's a pretty good running back room. Is it the best running back room in the NFL? No, but it's pretty good in my opinion. You got 2 young guys. You got an old vet who still obviously has a lot of juice left in the tank. I think it's just a really good, really good running back room. Like I said, we're gonna have to rely on them heavily. Whereas Tyler Shuck, where there's Joe Hainer, where there's Hainer or Jake Hainer. I don't know why I said Joe Hainer. Jake Hainer, Spencer Rattler, or Tyler Shuck starting at quarterback. We're gonna have to run the ball. So we're probably gonna be a running back by committee. Hopefully we're a running back by committee. Obviously, Alvin Kamara is your #1 guy, but after that, we have to get some other guys some touches and things like that. And hopefully the running backs will play well this year. Do I have faith in them? Yeah. We're behind the offensive line, what I talked about. Obviously, we're gonna go Banks. We're going to go Trevor Penning, who I think is going to be really good at guard first. McCoy, Ruiz, and Fuaga, who I think can be an all-pro this year. So I think the offensive line is going to be pretty good. I think we're going to be really good running the ball in the inside, especially to the left behind Penning and McCoy. I think that could be really good for us with Ruiz kind of pulling. Fuaga stealing off that backside, Banks moving somebody as well. I think that can be a really good thing for us in the run game. Maybe it's going to be some RPOs, some read options, depends on who's starting at quarterback. So I think the running backs can be used in multiple different ways. I did see Devin Neal ran some wildcat packages, some heavy packages. So that can also be, a thing right there. So I'm excited to see this running back room. I'm excited to see him in preseason because these guys are going to play a lot. Devin Neal's going to probably play a lot in the preseason, and Kendre Miller's going to need to play a lot in the preseason. So that's going to be special to watch. Going to see those guys behind whatever makeshift offensive line we put out there in the preseason. But I'm excited to see this running backs. And that's the running back room, man. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go to the receivers next, and then I will be done with the offense at the moment. But the receiver special group right there, I think. Still don't think we have a big body receiver that's really reliable, but we'll get there. I'll kind of do receivers and tight ends together just because they're all pass catchers. So that'll be the last group I'll do on that part, man. Also got a Tyler Shuck video dropping again, another breakdown of Tyler Shuck film. Like I said, I've been missing, but I'm back and we back rolling. Thank you all for tuning in once again. As always, this is DaBootTragedies. I'm out.